Hi there, Sandra here from the Schwowin's Nest. Welcome to another episode of Dollar Store Saturday. My first project is using this wind chime that I picked up at my local Dollarama store for $3.50. It had two sweet little owls on them, so I decided to make them over. They've got a bunch of holes in them from where they were all tied together, so I'm going to fill them in with spackle. This type of spackle starts out pink and turns white when it's completely dry. I'm taking a baby wipe just to clean off all the excess that I got around the holes, and once it's dry, I'll be ready to paint. This first one I'm going to paint with my DIY chalk paint in white, and it's going to need a couple of coats to make sure that it's nicely covered. I don't really want any of that green and those other colors to show through. I thought since summer is coming that I would paint this second owl with Rust-Oleum chalked paint in the color Serenity Blue. It is so pretty. It's just a really nice blue, a little similar to the Annie Sloan Duck Egg Blue, but this one is a little bit lighter, and I really love the coverage. I'm going to put some white wax on the blue owl. And the way I get the white wax is to use clear wax and then just add some white paint into it. I mix it up in a little jar and then I've got it for whenever I need a white wax accent. This is turning out really nice. I'm basically just dry brushing it and it's collecting in all of the nooks and crannies, but then I'm able to just brush it off wherever I don't need it. The white owl is going to get some dark brown. I'm using a gel stain in walnut. I'm going to do the same thing, brush it on, but this time I'm going to take a baby wipe and wipe it off a little bit, and you're going to see how all of the darkness stays in those nooks and crannies, and you get a lighter effect on the other parts of it. It turns out absolutely gorgeous. I really love this effect. I think these owls turned out super cute and they're going to look great on my tiered tray. My second project is using this old sugar bowl. I picked it up at a thrift store thinking that I could resell it when I was thinking I could resell things, but unfortunately, there's no market where I live for this kind of stuff. That's why it's at the thrift store. Anyhow, I decided to go ahead and paint it with my Serenity Blue chalk paint since I had it out and make it a cute little candy dish. I created a label on my computer and I printed it off on tissue paper, which is something that I really love to do. I'm applying it with Mod Podge and the tissue paper almost disappears. When you put it on something white, you can't even tell at all. On this blue, you see a little bit of shading, but that's okay. I don't mind that look. I had a little piece of the design left over, so I cut it out and I'm going to apply it to the knob of the lid. If you're interested in learning how I print on tissue paper, I have a full tutorial listed down in my description box. I'll also have the printable available on my website, which is also linked down below. Now I've got a couple of honey projects for you. First, I'm going to start off using this little plastic seed starter pot that I got at the Dollar Tree. I think they came like in a pack of 8 or 10, so I've got a bunch of them. And I'm going to start gluing some nautical rope, which is also from the Dollar Tree, all the way around until I get to the top. This is going to turn into a cute little bee skep. I'm using hot glue and I'm just gluing it about every couple of inches just to make sure that it stays secure. Now that I've gotten to the top of the pot, I'm going to need to adjust myself a little bit and glue the nautical rope onto itself, making sure that I make it smaller every time I loop it around. I want this to have a nice rounded top. I want to take a quick sec and point out this new hot glue gun that I have. It's dual temperature, so there's a high setting and a low setting. It stands on its own and it can even be used for a few minutes cordless. If you're interested in checking this out, I've got a link down in my description box. Now that I'm at the top of the skep, I'm just going to cut the rope off and make a loop and glue that into place as well. I'm going to take a smaller piece of the jute rope and glue it into a circle, which will become the door of the skep. The next step then is to paint the inside of the circle with black paint, and then it will look like a little door for the bees to get in. To create a little bit more embellishment and make it look a little more cutesy, I'm taking some of this black and white striped ribbon that I got at Michael's on clearance. I'm just going to tie a really small shoestring bow and then glue that to the top of the skep. Of course, if I have a bee skep, I've got to have a bee. I glued two beads together, one smaller one and one larger one, and then I painted them both black. Using the same ribbon, I'm going to cut out 4 little wings and glue them to the back of my bee. I also gave the bee a little antenna, and I'm just going to glue him right on top of his little house. I think he turned out adorable. For my next honey related project, I took a little jam jar and I painted it with a beigey gray kind of color. You can see the paintbrush down at the bottom of the screen here. For some reason, I did not press the record button when I was painting the jar and I just gave it 2 coats. I'm taking this little gift bag that is fabric and I got that at Michael's on clearance right at the end of the Christmas season. I'm just going to cut out a circle and I'm going to put that on top of the red lid of the jam jar and make it look like a little old-fashioned kind of jelly jar. I'm hot gluing the fabric right onto the lid, and then I'm just going to cut out more of a circle shape so I don't have any flaps hanging down. I've put the lid on the jar and now I'm just taking some little butcher twine and I'm just wrapping it around a few times and then I'll just tie it off in a knot. Using my Craft Smart paint pen in the color black, and this is the thick chisel tip, I'm going to write the word honey, just some simple letters with a few little ticks on the ends just to make it look a little bit more homemade. I drew on a little bee with a little trail of dots, and now I'm just taking a fine tip Sharpie marker and drawing some dashes as shadows along the letters just to give them more dimension. I added a honeycomb bead on a bamboo skewer and glued it to the side of the jar, and I think it turned out really cute. This next project is going to be a sign. I'm starting off with a 4x6 frame backing and I'm just using the tumbling tower blocks to make sure that I have the right size. So I'm just kind of placing out the frame and then I'm going to mark off what size I need to cut the frame material itself. This frame backing is about the thickness of a Dollar Tree sign, so it's very easy to just score it and snap it. I'm just going to use hot glue to glue the blocks together, just making sure that I wipe off any excess that squeezes out in between. I want this sign to be double-sided, so what I'm going to do is just press the frame backing into the center of the blocks and then glue it into place. I'm going to use the same gel stain that I did for the owl. I'm going to brush it on this time and then wipe off the excess with a rag. The first side of this sign is going to be painted white on the inside, so I'm using my DIY chalk paint and I'm going to give it a couple of coats. For the other side of the sign, I'm going to use this black and white buffalo check wrapping paper. I'm just going to trace it out and cut it to size. This paper is fairly thin and I didn't want it to get too wrinkled, so I'm going to use a glue stick instead of Mod Podge. On the white side, I'm going to do my tissue paper printing method. I've already applied a coat of Mod Podge and now I'm going to put this cute little printable frame on. I thought it looked like maybe some lemon leaves, so I decided to go with a little bit of a lemon theme on the front and the back of this. So I'm just going to take my brush with Mod Podge and smooth out all the wrinkles and add enough glue on the top that it stays secure. This time, instead of putting the whole image together, I printed off multiple pieces and I'm just going to layer them right on top. So this is just a little sign that says Fielder Sweet Honey Lemon Drops. I'm also going to add a little honey jar and 2 little yellow candies. Since I had to use quite a bit of hot glue, I'm going to camouflage that by adding some white cotton rope all the way around the inside of the frame. Keeping with the lemon theme for this sign, I want to put a slice of lemon on the back. So I took a styrofoam ball and I cut out a faux lemon slice. And now I'm just taking some masking tape and I'm going to tape the whole thing all the way around just to camouflage some of the texture of the styrofoam. I'm using some regular yellow acrylic paint and I'm adding some baking soda to it so I can give this lemon slice some texture and make it look more realistic. Now that the paint is dry, I'm going to use a white chalk marker and make a circle around the inside. Then I'll do some pie-shaped wedges and just add a little bit more of the white chalk paint to make it look more realistic. If you're new to my channel and you like what you're seeing, I would love for you to stick around by hitting that subscribe button. It will really support my channel and help it grow. I'm going to hot glue the lemon right into the middle of the frame. Then I'm going to add a couple of little green leaves, and I've also added some of the same white cotton rope. And now I've got a cute little double-sided sign for my tiered tray. This last project is using a soap holder sponge that's stainless steel. I'm just going to take off those little rubber suction cups and I'll take it outside and give it one good coat of flat black spray paint. Using the same cotton rope that I used for the frames, I'm going to start by hot gluing the end piece on the back and I'm just going to wrap it around the bottom part of this little basket. I'm going to hot glue it every couple of inches and then just keep wrapping it all the way around until I get to the bottom. I've glued a couple of pieces of floral foam to the bottom and now I'm just cutting off some of these Dollar Tree stems so I can fit them in and make this a miniature little lavender arrangement. I think this little arrangement turned out super cute. Thanks so much for sticking around to the end of my video. I really hope you enjoyed these tiered tray DIYs and got some inspiration to create some of your own. If you like what you saw, please give me a thumbs up. That tells YouTube that you like my video and they promote me more, which helps my channel grow too. Here's a couple more tiered tray videos that you might enjoy. Bye for now.